Do you trust your wife?
Well, do you?
It's possible for you to retire for life on
Do You Trust Your Wife? Brought to you by L&M. Get full, exciting flavor through the Miracle Tip. Live modern. Smoke L&M. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, a husband, by knowing whether to trust his wife, can possibly retire for life. Yes, our trust fund question pays $100 a week, every week for an entire year. And the trust fund winner may return and keep winning an additional year's income until he is defeated. Returning to compete with tonight's winners to try for $100 a week for a fifth year, our shoe salesman and law student, Jess Miller, and his wife, Rose Marie. Now, here's the star of our show, Edgar Bergen, with Mortimer Snerd. Here are Mickey and Peg Carter of Palm Springs, California.
Well, Mickey and Peg, we're very happy to have you with us tonight. Now, what sort of work do you do, Mickey?
Well, we're both photographers, Edgar.
I see. Photographers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, it is. And Peg, you work here in Hollywood then with your work, do you?
Well, we really work all over the world.
Oh, I
We
see.
specialize in wildlife.
In wildlife.
Now, just a darn minute here now. You won't start no carousing around here, I'll tell you that. This is not that kind of a show.
All right. What they mean is they shoot wild animals. Oh, yes. Isn't that right, Mickey?
Yes, that's right, Edgar. We just returned from Africa, and we were filming the sequences for the next Tarzan feature.
Oh. Peg, what do the African natives think of Tarzan?
Well, in the towns where where his movies are shown, he's very popular. And where the natives can't see his pictures, he's become sort of a legend like Paul Bunyan.
I'm sorry to hear that, yeah.
To hear what?
Tarzan's got bunions.
No. You are not paying attention, Mortimer.
Well, I tried it once, and it only confused me.
Mickey, can you remember some experience that would be interesting for Mortimer here and the rest of us?
Well, you know, Edgar, the usual, unusual gets to be the usual after all these trips. But I did see a very unusual thing last time, was a big crocodile way up in the crotch of a tree.
Oh, I see.
And the only way we figured he could have gotten up there was that an elephant just must have tossed him up there.
Well, that was right neighborly of the elephant, yeah. Thought that they figured it fell out of its nest. Oh, no.
Alligators, crocodiles, yeah.
Oh, no. Uh-huh. Well, I may be wrong. Yeah. I usually am, yeah.
What do you consider the most dangerous animals you ran into?
Well, elephants are,
Yeah.
Edgar. They're really the most intelligent animal in Africa.
Must be their king-size wisdom teeth sticking out in front.
Yeah, that's what it is. Have you had any close call with elephants yourself, Mickey?
Well, I've had some pretty close calls, Edgar. You know, they look pretty big coming through that viewfinder there. An elephant, it's hard to judge his speed and his size. You know, a big African elephant will weigh up to 6 tons.
Up to 6 tons?
Yes, he will.
Oh, say, I'll bet that's what makes them so big.
Well, of course it is, yeah. Are you afraid of elephants, Mortimer?
Well, no. I know how to catch an elephant.
They might like to know that.
Yeah. How do you do it? Well, you hide behind a bush, you know. You make a noise like a peanut. Oh, no.
You know, a little ant about that big can kill an elephant.
Oh?
And they're the only thing that can kill an elephant outside of another elephant. But you get an elephant asleep and he rests his tusks, you know, his big tusks in the crotch of a tree, why, the ant just crawls right up his trunk and he just drives him crazy. He goes berserk.
Probably tickles his ivories.
All right.
Now, you know, that was pretty good.
Mickey, you probably respect a lot of the animals out there in Africa. Are there any of these that you have a great dislike for?
Well, I don't like the hyena.
The hyena.
But you know, really, the most hideous animal, I think, in Africa is the old warthog.
The old warthog, yeah. I see.
Sounds like my kind of people.
No, About how many months out of a year do you spend filming in the jungle?
Oh, 7 to 8 months.
Oh,
And then we usually come back to Palm Springs and relax in a lovely 45-foot mobile home. And we love it.
Yeah, well, you certainly have an exciting life together. I wish we had more time to hear about your experiences.
You know something, them wild animals, they ain't really so dangerous.
They aren't?
No, I don't think so. It's a kind of an ugly rumor spread by people that's been et by them.
I think so. Well, we've enjoyed talking to you. And now it's time for our quiz. But first, Mortimer, do you know what L&M cigarettes say?
Well, I didn't know they could talk.
Well, they say live modern. And here's how they prove it.
Miss Agatha, do you mind if I light a cigarette?
Why don't you live modern? Live modern. Live modern. Have an L&M.
Enjoy the full, exciting flavor of modern living. Smoke L&M through the modern miracle of L&M's Pure White Miracle Tip. Pure white inside, pure white outside, comes full and exciting tobacco flavor. L&M tastes richer, smokes cleaner, draws easier. So light up, free up, let your taste come alive.
Make today your big red letter day and start to live the modern way. Live modern. Get L&M today.
Mr. and Mrs. Carter, you can win up to $1,200 in cash tonight on your way to our trust fund question. Your first correct answer is worth $100, your second $200, your third $300. And Edgar, here are the Carter's questions.
Will you both please go to the board? Mickey, we want to see how much you know about your wife. Mickey, how many rings is your wife wearing at the present moment? And Peg, write down the number of rings you're wearing now.
He wrote 3 and she wrote 3. You now have $100. Your second correct answer will be worth $200.
The subject of your second question is American composers. Do you trust your wife?
I'll have to.
All right. One Alone, Silver Moon, and Deep in My Heart, Dear. Deep in My Heart, Dear. Were all written by the same composer. Who is he? One Alone, Silver Moon, and Deep in My Heart.
Not Berlin.
No, it was Sigmund Romberg.
The Carters missed the second question, but still have the $100 they won on their first question. So their third question will be worth $200.
The subject of your third question is the American flag. Do you trust your wife?
Well, I will. I'll trust you.
What is meant when the flag is flown upside down?
Distress?
Distress is right.
Edgar, Mr. and Mrs. Carter have won $300. They may now risk all of it, none of it, or part of it on our board question. But if you lose, what you risk will be deducted from what you already have won. And remember, tonight's top winner competes with our winner from last week for our trust fund question of $100 a week every week for an entire year.
And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, do you wish to select a category?
We'll take the $300. Try
Right.
the $300,000.
And do you trust yourself or do you trust your wife?
I'll try it.
All right. Where must all bills of revenue originate? In the Senate or the House of Representatives?
Bills of revenue must originate in the Senate.
I'm sorry. Bills of revenue originate in the House of Representatives.
Edgar, the Carters lost their $300. Do you have another question for them?
Oh, I think so, yes. For $100, after what French king is Louis XIV furniture named?
Louis the 14th.
That is right.
Carters have a grand total of $100. Now here is Edgar Bergen with Charlie McCarthy. Edgar and Charlie, here are Wilburn and Diane Seymour of Atlanta, Georgia. Will is a lieutenant in the United States Navy.
Very nice to have you with us, Will and Diane. Is that right? Yes. How long have you folks been married?
We've been married 4 years, Edgar.
4 years.
We have 2 children, a little girl, Kimberly Ann, who is 2, and Stephen, who recently had his first birthday.
Fine. And Will, where are you stationed?
I'm at Camp Pendleton, California. I'm a Navy dentist.
You're a lieutenant senior grade, is that right?
That's right.
Uh-huh. To me, he's still a drill sergeant. No. But isn't Camp Pendleton, that's a Marine base?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I see.
When I was graduated from dental school, I signed up for 2-year hits in the Navy, and I was assigned to Camp Pendleton.
And they call it integration. Yes. I say it's revenge. No. I bet you can tell us about the howls of the Montezuma. Do the big Marines ever give you any trouble while they're in the chair? Yeah. Have you ever had a Novocaine mutiny? All right. Actually, I just threw that one in. Yeah. I guess I should have thrown it out. Yeah. All right. I wish you'd take some of those yourself. Yeah. So far, you could have had all of them. Well, how do your patients behave as a rule?
Well, as a rule, they're very cooperative, as Marines are.
Yeah.
Most of them realize probably that being an officer, I might be able to pull rank.
Pull rank, among other things. Yeah. Diane, does Will ever discuss any of his cases with you when he's come home?
Oh, yes. He comes home and sits down in a chair, and then he mentally calculates how much money he would have made had the Marines been private patients.
Yeah. I guess you can't pull rank on your life, though. No. I imagine that it's convenient to have a dentist in the family. That works out rather well.
Well, not exactly. He thinks I'm his worst patient.
Well...
In fact, he's hoping someday to be rich enough to send me to another dentist.
Well, with the prices they charge now, the only one who can afford a dentist is a dentist. Yeah, all right. Well, why do you think Diane is your worst patient?
Well, she wiggles and squirms and gags, screams.
Yeah. Be careful.
One time she screamed and I wasn't even in the room. She said I heard her.
You know, she might leave you on the grounds of dental cruelty. All right. Diane, let's talk to you now for a minute. How did you and Will meet?
Well, Edgar, we met at a square dance in the Smoky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me that night for a date later on the next week.
Yeah.
So the next morning, I told one of my girlfriends, Pauline, what had happened. She said, "Oh, don't go out with Will Seymour. He's a wolf."
Uh-huh.
He took me out last week, and his car broke down out in the woods.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't listen to her, and
No.
I went out with him. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened here. And you saw him again? Oh, you are a patient girl. I see. So, well, when were you married then?
We were married in the summer of 1952. We were married in Lexington, and we went on to New Orleans for our honeymoon. And along the way, our little old car broke down in the woods.
Yeah.
And remembering what Pauline had told me, I thought maybe he was pulling my little old leg.
Yeah, which wouldn't be a bad little old idea. All right. Well, you're a very nice couple, and it's been fun talking to you. Yeah, and while everyone is in such a good humor, let's slip in the L&M commercial.
Miss Agatha, do you mind if I light a cigarette?
Why don't you live modern? Live modern. Live modern. Have an L&M.
Enjoy the full, exciting flavor of modern living. Smoke L&M. Through the modern miracle of L&M's Pure White Miracle Tip, pure white inside, pure white outside, comes full and exciting tobacco flavor. L&M tastes richer, smokes cleaner, draws easier. So light up, free up, let your taste come alive.
Make today your big red letter day and start to live the modern way. Live, live, live modern. Get L&M today.
Mr. and Mrs. Seymour, you can win up to $1,200 in cash tonight on your way to our trust fund question. Your first correct answer is worth $100. Edgar, here are the Seymour's questions.
Thank you. Will you both go to the board, please? We want to see if you observed your wife's television habits, Will. Will, while your wife is watching TV, what food would she most likely be nibbling? Candy, fruit, or potato chips? And Diane, you write either candy, fruit, or potato chips.
He wrote potato chips, and she wrote potato chips. You now have $100. Your second correct answer will be worth $200.
The subject of your second question is American composers. Do you trust your wife?
Yeah, I trust my wife.
These three songs were written by the same man. You do something to me, begin the begin, and you're the top. Who was the composer?
Cole Porter?
Cole Porter is right.
You now have $300. Your next correct answer will be worth $300.
The subject of your third question is the American flag. Do you trust your wife?
I'll trust myself.
All right. On what day of the year is it proper to fly our flag at half-mast from sunrise to noon and full-mast from noon to sunset?
Memorial Day?
Memorial Day is right.
Edgar, Mr. and Mrs. Seymour have won $600. They may now risk all of it, none of it, or part of it on our board question.
Now, do you wish to select a category?
We'd like the $500 question.
All right. And do you trust yourself or do you trust your wife?
Trust myself.
All right. This is Greek mythology. Where was the home of the gods?
Mount Olympus.
Mount Olympus is right.
And the Seymours have a grand total of $1,100. Now, here is Edgar Bergen with Effie Klinker. Edgar, here are Don Kuntz of Des Moines and his wife Thelma of Weskin, Kansas. The Kuntzes now live in Del Mar, California.
Good evening, Don and Thelma, and welcome to the show. Now, Don, what do you do?
Edgar, I'm a house husband.
A house husband?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, now, just what would that be?
Well, because of ill health, I haven't been able to work. While my wife works, I take care of the household chores.
Oh, I see. Thelma, what kind of work do you do? What kind of a job do you have?
I sell cosmetics at the Solana Beach Pharmacy.
Uh-huh. Don, do you have a large house to take care of?
No, it isn't so large, but it is peculiar.
Peculiar. How do you mean that?
Well, it's situated on a hill overlooking the Pacific Ocean. We have a nice view of the ocean, but from inside the house, we can't see it because there's no windows on that side.
Oh, I see. Well, in other words, it completely overlooks the ocean then. Don, why would anyone build a house like that with no windows on the ocean side?
Yeah. Well, the house was built by an old sailor, and I don't think he ever wanted to see the ocean again.
He was sick of the sea. Well, how old is this house, Thelma?
Well, it's about 50 years old.
Oh, I see.
But the sailor that built it wasn't much of a carpenter.
Oh.
The front door opens into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And another strange feature, there's windows between the two bedrooms.
Windows between the two bedrooms.
Oh, dear. That could be interesting.
Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
I just received a signal that our time is running short. So, Don and Thelma, we'll have to end our interview and give you a chance at our quiz.
Well, I hope you win some money.
Say good night.
Yeah, good night, kids.
Mr. and Mrs. Coons, you can win up to $1,200 in cash tonight on your way to our trust fund question. Your first correct answer is worth $100. And Edgar, here are the Coons' questions.
Thank you. Will you please both go to the board? Don, we want to see how much you know about your wife. Don, what is your wife's favorite comic strip? And Thelma, you write the name of your favorite comic strip.
He wrote Blondie and she wrote Blondie. You now have $100. Your second correct answer will be worth $200.
The subject of your second question is American composers. Do you trust your wife?
Trust myself.
All right. One of our greatest composers of operettas wrote these 3 songs: Thine Alone, Our Sweet Mystery of Life, and Gypsy Love Song. Who is he?
I don't know.
It's Victor Herbert.
The Coonses missed the second question, but they still have the $100 they won on their first question. So their third question will be worth $200.
The subject of your third question is the American flag. Do you trust your wife?
I'll trust myself, I believe.
All right. What is the correct way to dispose of the American flag when it is no longer usable?
I believe you should burn it.
To burn it is correct.
Edgar, Mr. and Mrs. Coons have won $300. They may now risk all of it, none of it, or part of it on our board question.
Now, do you wish to select a category?
Well, I guess the 300.
And do you trust yourself or do you trust your wife?
I'll have to trust myself.
All right. How long is a senator's term of office?
4 years.
6 years is the right answer. I'm sorry.
Edgar, the Coonses won $300, risked $300, and lost $300.
Oh.
Now, do you have a question for these nice people?
Well, we can't have you going away without anything, so let me give you one. For $100, can you tell me what California fruit do we use in making frozen lemonade?
Lemons, I
Lemon is.
And the Coonses have a grand total of $100. And now it's time for our trust fund question. We will place in trust with the world's largest bank, the Bank of America in California, a trust fund which will pay tonight's winning couple $100 every week for an entire year. Last week, our law student, Jess Miller, and his wife, Rose Marie, won $100 a week for a 4th year. Formerly of Los Angeles, they now live in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And here they are back to try for $100 a week for a 5th year.
Well, Rosemary and Jess, Bob Lamont said now of Cambridge. Does this mean you finally found an apartment?
Finally is right. But we might add, though, Mr. Bergen, that your announcement last week that we were looking for an apartment helped out a lot.
Well, then we got some action, didn't we?
Plenty of it. We even had an offer to rent a barn and a lighthouse.
And a woman in Holyoke said that she was such a fan of yours that she'd like for us to share her home with her, rent-free.
Well, now that's terrific. Rent-free. You're very lucky.
Yes, we thought so, too, until we found out that Holyoke was 75 miles from Harvard.
Oh. Well, after all, Lincoln walked to school, you know. But did you find a place?
Yes, we did, Mr. Bergen, and it's lovely. The rent is pretty reasonable, and they like babies, and it's really very nicely furnished, and the management even went so far out as to put in wall-to-wall carpeting for us to make it more comfortable and beautiful for us.
And you can put in wall-to-wall money now, you know, because you've won $22,000 so far, haven't you? Yes. And right now, it's time to see how you'll make out in your try for a 5th year of weekly checks. Bob Lamont, who are the tonight's winners to compete with the Millers?
Well, Edgar, to compete with the Millers, is tonight's winning couple with $1,100, Wilburn and Diane Seymours. The subject for tonight's trust fund question is animal, vegetable, and mineral. And Edgar, here is that question.
Well, gentlemen, you've heard the category. There's a lot of money at stake. Now, do you trust yourselves or do you trust your wife? In just a few seconds, our couples will match wits in the big trust fund question. But right now, you are about to see something you have never before seen on any other automatic washer or electric dryer in the world.
This is a new idea from General Motors. Delineated, detailed, perfected. Presented to you in the shape of unique control towers atop the new 1957 Frigidaire automatic washer and electric dryer. They signal in savings that no other washer or dryer in the world can give you. Savings in hot water, detergents, electricity, time, and on clothes bills, too. For example, only exclusive rub-free washing action gets clothes so clean, so quickly, so gently, entirely without harmful rubbing. See the savingest automatic washer and electric dryer ever built at your Frigidaire dealers.
Well, Jess Miller, do you trust yourself or do you trust your wife?
I'll trust myself.
And Will Seymour, do you trust yourself or do you trust your wife?
I trust myself.
You trust it. Very well, then. Will you go to the board, please? You will have 20 seconds to answer this question. It's worth $100 a week for a year. And the winner can come back and perhaps make enough to retire for life. This may be the most important answer you will ever have to give. You have 20 seconds, so think clearly and write fast. Get your pen ready. Here is the question. On the board is a list of 10 things. They are either animal, vegetable, or mineral. When I say go, write A for animal, B for vegetable, and M for mineral. Are you ready? All right, go.
Here are the correct answers. Linoleum, vegetable. Asbestos, mineral. Rubber, vegetable. Parchment, animal. Cork, vegetable. Platypus, animal. Rock, animal. Saffron, vegetable. Tobacco, vegetable. Nylon, mineral. The Millers have 7 correct. And the Seymours have 10 correct. The Seymours are our trust fund winners tonight with $100 a week for an entire year.
Back next week to try for $100 a week for 2 years.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week then. Congratulations. I'm mighty proud of these L&Ms. You know, more people are switching to L&Ms than any other cigarette, plain or filter. And they're finding that exciting L&M flavor I've been telling you about. And they like it. And you will, too. How about it? Try an L&M.
Next week, Do You Trust Your Wife will be brought to you by the Frigidaire division of General Motors and the Frigidaire dealers in your community. And now it's time to say goodnight to Charlie McCarthy.
Good night.
Mortimer Snerd.
Me too.
And Edgar Bergen.
See you next week, folks.
Do You Trust Your Wife is brought to you by L&M. Get full, exciting flavor through the pure white miracle tip. Live modern. Smoke L&M.